Hello. Welcome back to the Bodacious Rant.
I didn't see you there.
I've only had a Phantom of the Opera mask. I think that would have really completed that, but whatever. Next time. I actually get a Phantom of the Opera mask. It's like, oh, you weren't kidding. Like, no, I wasn't. But, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the soothing voice of Rye.
The very, very sexy, the very short.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to go for here, Burn. Like late night radio, if you really want to hop into that. Anyways, and you're listening to the hilarious Burn. Thank you, Burn, for joining me this evening.
That's me.
So last time we were talking about Man of Steel and the lead up to Snyder Cut, which again, coming out March 18th. I cannot flipping wait. Mm-hmm. It's exciting, especially because recently there was a leak. If you clicked on HBO Max, if you try to watch Tom and Jerry for background noise, as some people were saying, I think they were really genuinely trying to watch Tom and Jerry, which is fine, but I'm gonna stick with the cartoon. And yeah, apparently they leaked it for a few minutes, so that was cool. I guess I missed out on it because I was legitimately watching Tom and Jerry for the first 15 minutes.
You're like, when does this Superman come out?
Kind of. I was like, so what the fuck does that do for the Snyder Cut?
This has nothing to do with it. Where's the leak?
A little bit. I was just like,
I could imagine you just sitting there for like an hour and a half, like, when does the thing happen?
I was just sitting there like this, just what the fuck did I just do? I can't stop. Shut up, dude.
Just the John Lovitz faces.
I can't do it because I just want to laugh every time I see it. Just that was the best scene in Rat Race. Just when they go to a Nazi museum, he's all terrified. Just. But we're gonna talk. Byrne took the lead on Man of Steel because that's his favorite. We are talking about why I like this one a little bit better. This is Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Cut. Why we are talking about the Ultimate Cut? Because it is just ultimately better. Because when this movie came out, there were a lot of hype behind it that, studio execs and Warner Brothers personnel were giving a standing ovation that they loved this one. So I was going into this super hyped up. I remember actually we went to go see it at the Chinese theater, and that was just a nightmare of a drive. You were already there, and I was super late just because right around the theater that whole boulevard and block was just like bumper to bumper. I was literally freaking out because I'm like, I could walk right there and I'll be fine. But I had to go around the block, get into the parking lot. Anyways, that was a very special drive.
You made it though. You made it.
I did make it just in time, thank God. And I'm not gonna lie, I did love it. Parts of it, kind of like Man of Steel when I first saw it, but it was just no. I did not. I was very disappointed. I had that disappointment. I was like, that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like I enjoyed it, but it didn't make sense.
No, it did not make sense. There was so much missing from this movie, and it was ridiculous. But and then that's when the news started pouring out that there was more. Studio really meddled with it. They cut out a lot of footage from it,
and half an hour's worth.
Yeah, a lot. And then like 6 months later that year, that's when they said, "Oh yeah, Ultimate Cut's coming out." So look for it on Blu-ray, iTunes, whatever. So I have both versions. Unfortunately, I don't watch the old one. I don't watch the theatrical. That just stays.
I haven't gone and rewatch that one.
I'm not gonna rewatch it. No. And the Ultimate Cut, like kind of like all of Zack Snyder's like director's cuts, like Dawn of the Dead, Watchmen, Man of Steel didn't get one, I don't think, but
no.
But Batman vs Superman, they all have a little bit more to it that just kind of flush it out a little bit more. Like Dawn of the Dead had a few more character scenes, so did Watchmen. And this just filled in the gaps of the story, and that's why we're talking about it. I kind of talked about my first rewatch, and you kind of did it as well. But what did you think of it when you first saw the Ultimate Cut? Let's revisit that moment in your life.
When I first saw the Ultimate Cut, I remember I bought it right when it dropped. On Amazon. I remember it released like on Amazon first, so I was like, I've since then I've bought it on Blu-ray and stuff. But yeah, when Amazon dropped it, bought it right away and sat down for 3 hours, and I was just like, why did they cut all of this out?
I haven't exactly why the.
That was my initial reaction. Was how did you think this was a good idea?
What executive greenlit this? They need to lose their job.
Yeah, because man, there was so much context put back into the movie. Superman was put back into the movie. All these sequences of Clark Kent, that were just completely gone. That give more context to him and why he has such an issue with Batman in this movie. All of that was just removed. All the stuff in Africa that set up the entire movie.
Because what we got in the theatrical cut was like, what? Like this is what they're getting all upset about? Like it made no sense. And how I remember sitting in the theater when the Jimmy Olsen, the new Jimmy Olsen, who's like a CIA undercover agent,
well,
he gets off.
Jimmy Olsen,
yeah, he gets off in the first few minutes. It could be
just like a fake, CIA name. We don't.
I'm sticking with it's Jimmy Olsen. Okay, don't get smart with me now. But yeah, he gets off, and then it cut to black, and then it opened back up. I was like, that's a really interesting way to transition to a new scene. Like we're gonna cut to black because it was PG-13, but it's like you didn't have to cut to black. So I felt like they took something out and then just jumped to this scene. So there were small things I remember thinking in the theater, like this does not feel organic. Like they definitely did something with it to just jump around all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, absolutely. I had the same mindset. It's like, why did we watch this? Why was this not in theaters again? Like what the fuck do you call? I don't know. That was definitely like studio meddling with it, kind of like Justice League, where they brought in Joss Whedon. There's more to it in the story, and you guys should definitely check it out. Like why more so than what we talked about last year and things recently. But
yeah, there's a Vanity Fair article that does the whole thing. Maybe we can link that.
I'm gonna definitely link that. That article was super well written, super in depth, like kind of unbiased, but at the same time, it's just spilling the beans on the whole situation.
Yeah,
and yeah, just like I said, the ultimate cut was just so much better, like non-comparable. Like,
not even close.
And this is what Zack Snyder really wanted to release. So that's just another bummer of why, I really loved it. Have you rewatched it lately?
I did.
Nice. And still any new perspectives or do you still very much like, I don't know. Has anything changed for you since you rewatched it? I'm probably lagging a little bit, Burn, but have you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I'm just like, I'm going to ask you again without being weird. Has anything changed for you, Burn?
No, I mean, nothing's changed for me. Ever since that, I did see the Ultimate Edition initially. I've had the same reaction, upon rewatches. Then where I just, it went from a movie that was interesting but really just discombobulated and just incoherent to this really long, sort of like character study, political thriller where, these two iconic characters are being pitted against each other from forces neither of them aren't aware of. And again, everything's just so fleshed out. Their conflicts with each other, the overall conflict of the world against, Superman, and then, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, like his whole plan is a little more fleshed out, so we understand how he was able to manipulate these characters. And it just all makes sense in this 3-hour long epic movie that we got.
Yes, exactly. And I rewatched it recently. I fell in love with it even more, having like really sit down and kind of re-examine it again since watching it all those years ago. And I still agree with Batman. I know he's very here's the thing, they're in their kind of own egos in this a little bit. Like I know Superman's coming out that Batman's terrorizing this community without truly trying to look into why necessarily he's terrorizing him. Like he's like, oh, this guy's just beating up people and doing this and that. But it's like, well, why don't you ask the question, why is he doing this? Why don't you look into that part? And then Batman, even all the good Superman's doing, he's still very untrusting of him. He just doesn't, like that line in the movie where he said, he has the power to eliminate the entire human race. And if there's 1% chance he's our enemy, we have to take it with an absolute certainty. And while that's very paranoid, it is legitimate. It is a legitimate idea to take, because if there is that one chance he decides to take on the whole world, he could do it. And So I still side with Batman, and partially because I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan. He's got a strong jaw, and he was just jacked as shit. That was one of the biggest things I really liked is like Ben Affleck took this role seriously, and he did a great job. I know it's a very controversial opinion to a lot of people because Chris Bale or Michael Keaton's your Batman, which is totally fine. We all have our favorite Batmans. I'm not going to dispute that.
They were great too.
Yeah, no, they were definitely great. Like Michael Keaton especially, but Ben Affleck wins it for me every time, just because we finally got to see him fight like Batman should fight, especially after you playing the Arkham games and, growing up with the movies and stuff, like the cartoons. It's like we got to see not only brutal Batman, but someone who's agile, who has his own fighting style. When he was throwing dudes around left and right, piercing with his grappling hook, that was a little like, oh man, you just shanked that guy with your grappling hook. I've never seen that before. And he a lot of people's complaints were he's killing people left and right, and I did agree with that at first. I was like, this is not the Batman I kind of signed up for.
But that's the point.
But that is the point. Kind of like in Man of Steel, how Superman snaps Zod's neck for the greater good. He was killing people who are willing to shoot at him and try and kill him. So it's self-defense, whether you look at it or not. And Batman at this point in time, very much based on Frank Miller's iteration, The Dark Knight, where he's just past the point of being a hero. He just wants justice, regardless of how he gets it. And Superman's just another thing thrown into the mix. Superman is basically the end game. Kind of like how Tony Stark saw Thanos and, the wormhole in the air is the end game. This was his. Like, if I got to take him down so he doesn't take the rest of the world with us. Just because, again, the Man of Steel really hit him hard, where many of his coworkers and friends died at the Wayne building in Metropolis. And it's kind of like that thing. Like, so all these people died and suffered because of your fight with one of your own people, and you get to kind of do whatever you want still. Like, you're still viewed as a hero. Actually, I really like that exchange even more, especially in the Ultimate Cut with when they go to Lex Luthor's house for that party, and they kind of subtly jab at each other. They don't know who they are yet, but it's like where he's like, oh, well, people are living in fear in Gotham. He's like, they playing, wait, do I own this one, or is that the other guy? Like, basically trying to say like, oh yeah, your Superman's news, right? And the whole calling Batman a vigilante, but it's like Superman basically does whatever he wants, and you guys are fine with it because it's very one-sided, which he wasn't wrong about. So I know I'm rambling, Bern. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take up the screen time.
No.
This movie gets me so hyped because it's so right in Batman's point of view, but he's also very wrong. Like, if you just took a chance to really kind of try and get to know him, or try and understand what he's doing, and maybe look into his background as much as you could, he would have found out that Superman is generally a good person trying to do the right thing for the world. So it was very blinded. I still really liked it. I disagree with certain things of it. I'm trying to think of what I'm like. But anyways, let me let you think. Let me let you go, Bern, because I've been rambling. I've been ranting as we are. So you, but my bodacious son of a bitch, go ahead.
My ranting time. No, yeah, I think this movie does serve as a continuation of the conversation regarding Superman and Man of Steel, where there was his introduction into the world, and everything that John Kent told his son in that movie. We see like his fears brought to light.
Yeah,
where Superman is, he's out in this world, and now people, mankind as a whole is really coming to terms with his existence and what they think about it. Again, they all try to impart their own political agendas onto him, where at the end of the day, he's just a man trying to do the right thing. They can't. I think as a psychology in the human beings, and I think in some ways we don't feel like we deserve that. So there has to be a reason. There has to be a selfish reason for Superman to be wanting to do these grand things, these huge gestures. Saving us. He has to have his own reason. Like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex says.
Everybody's trying to project their own view of him. View of themselves onto him. Like, I wouldn't do that. So why is he doing that kind of thing? But go back to Lex Luthor.
You cannot be all good and all powerful. That's his thing. He can't.
I love that line.
He can't fathom God, being all good and all power. It has to be one or the other. And it's like, and again, it's just all these people imparting their fears onto Superman. Jesse's Lex's, his trauma from childhood, and his relationship with his father, and how that sort of warped his worldview. And then Batman on the other end of the spectrum, what happened to his parents, and how after 20 years in Gotham and not really making a dent
Oh
in
my God,
crime and
yeah.
stuff, it's like he's world weary. And now this god is like it's so great. The dialogue is so good where
Yes.
Jeremy Irons' Alfred tells him, everything's changed. Men fall from the sky, gods hurl thunderbolts, innocents die. It's like, this whole mankind is introduced to the Superman has really had a psychological effect on these characters. And again, like I said, it's in this post 9/11 world where everyone is so afraid of the other, they have to make him out to be something that he isn't.
Yeah.
Or to Batman, Superman is this evil entity that needs to be destroyed. He views his mission to be the salvation of the human race because Superman threatens that. And it's so interesting as a deconstruction of his character. And again, what Snyder likes to do with these characters is deconstruct.
Yeah, he breaks him down to like really just aspects of it. Like, okay, well, Batman is this character, but let's really let's peel the layers back, like a good onion or like Shrek. You gotta peel back the layers to find something. And yeah, like I said with Batman, it comes from a place of like you said, he's weary of just fighting crime. Like there's no sight to it, whether it be bat branding or just putting guns on his Batmobile and really taking it to the criminals. It was just there was no end in sight for him. And even Superman, he's just that threat of like, holy crap, now I gotta deal with this fucking guy.
Yeah, like he
And
tells Alfred, this may be the only thing I do that matters. This is
yeah,
legacy. It's that again. It's so interesting for Batman to say that.
yeah, but and that whole conversation with him and Alfred, where they're talking about like the whole 99% line, Alfred's just adamant like he's not our enemy. You don't know this. Like he didn't say he don't know this, but he's basically hinting like you don't know this guy. Why are you going to waste time with this right now? Like let him do his thing. You concentrate on what you're doing. Just stay
Mhm.
alive. And but he's just like that son of a bitch brought the war to us. How many more are we going to let die because of him? And the 20 years line, that was such a heart. Like as a Batman fan, that just threw the totally, I just saw a whole flash of just Batman's history. Just, we've seen what promises are worth. Like how many good guys are left and how many stayed that way. Like,
Absolutely.
Dick, Jason, Tim, all these, probably all his Robins either never existed or died. And all these people that were good people like Harvey Dent and Harley Quinn just thrown into madness because of crime, like just because of himself a little bit. It's kind of like again a take on Frank Miller's Batman, where Joker in that graphic novel, he's being like he's in a psych ward essentially because he doesn't laugh, he doesn't do anything, he's basically a vegetable. But when
Hmm.
Batman comes back into the mix, his insanity comes back and he just goes on a murderous rampage because his doctor was saying, well, Batman's the cause of this. You see, he's the catalyst to all this insanity and this crime. And it's like, could be, but that's not the point. Like Joker's still doing what he's doing. So he does such a great job like conveying that. And I actually rewatching it, I finally realized why Jesse Eisenberg did his whole little dun 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 thing after his little meetup with Batman at a jail.
Oh,
Just
his
because
ding
he
ding ding.
yeah, I finally get it because he's just playing on the fact that he's trying to just appear insane to kind of get out of jail. When Batman's like, "No, I'm sending you to Arkham. Like, I got friends there, so you're gonna be kept under my eye a little bit." And that's when he does it just to kind of convey, like, "Well, I'm still insane. I'm gonna get out of this somehow." So I remember when I first saw the movie in the theatrical cut, I was like, "Why the fuck is he singing right now? What is happening? Like this makes no sense." Because it
Oh
was
wow, I didn't know that
because
was
they
your
took out that whole
interpretation.
line of dialogue with the Arkham and stuff. Like that whole
Hmm.
part of that conversation was gone. And but
Yeah,
and
and
that's
again,
why
like just like a lot of the other stuff with regards to Jesse's Lex was cut out, in the regular theatrical cut of this movie.
yeah, exactly. There was just so many missing pieces. How KGB's played by Callan Mulvey, what he was really doing behind the scenes, and the lady from Africa who is the witness to Superman's massacre of that village. We find out what happened to her. Like there's just so many things that they filled in to really put these characters in this perspective and why they lead up to their epic fight. So, and it just got me more excited. Like the ending, I actually got a little more emotional this time around because I just rewatched it the other night, and it was just when he's like, I failed him in life. Like I won't fail him in death. We need to find the others like you, and they'll need to fight. They'll have to. And it was just that the whole ending scene where it's his funeral in Metropolis, and if the line on his headstone, essentially, or the plaque, if you seek his monument, look around you. Like Metropolis is his monument. Like what he's done for this city and the world is just, this was his home. And it gives me goosebumps thinking about it because it was such an epic moment. And then looking back at the movies after that, it was like, man, they really fucked up the rest of Zack Snyder's world. Like Suicide Squad sucked, and Wonder Woman was great, but that didn't really have much to do with Superman.
Yeah, that took place in the past.
Shazam it was the start of like, DC kind of spinning off into its own, closer stories and stuff. So that doesn't have much to do with it. But yeah, the Dawn of Justice, I love so much more. Just the introduction of Batman and his badassery. Wonder Woman, we got to see Wonder Woman. And then we got to see
Wonder Woman was great.
Yeah, she was badass. She cut off Doomsday's arm. Like, you really think about it, that's really difficult to do. And then we got to see the other Justice Leaguers, like in some footage that they had on this laptop. That line still is a little confusing. Just is she with you? Like being all slick about it. It's like, I thought she was with you. It's like, you sent her the information. You've been talking to her. What is your problem? Don't be smart about it. So, but oh man, I can't wait for Snyder Cut. Just watching all the trailers and stuff, it just gets me jacked. It's gonna be a big night. I'm gonna stay up till like 5 a.m. watching it.
I know, watch it right when it drops out. I think at like 11 p.m. our time. I'm assuming.
I think after work, I'm gonna come home, take a shower, get under the covers, get a little weird, and then watch it.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy. It's something that we've talked about, for the last 3-4 years. Where we went from thinking it was going to happen to where it would never happen. I was hoped it would, but never really had that idea that it will happen definitively. It was one of those things where it's like the great white whale, the great white buffalo.
Great white buffalo. Great white buffalo.
Yeah, it's nearly around the corner now. Literally around the corner.
Yeah, before it drops, again, I have to thank the fans behind the Snyder Cut campaign. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys. Like, I mean, we're big fans. Bern and I have been talking about this and wanting this for years, but all I did was just sign a petition for it. But the people really behind this campaign, you guys got it. Toxic fandom aside, the true fans did it, and I can't thank you guys enough. Like, we're gonna finally see this, either in the comfort of our own home or in the theater. Actually, I think it's only on HBO Max. I'm not sure, but I just can't wait. This is what every fan wants, is their director to finally do the movie they wanted to, especially after all the hardship Zack Snyder went through with the loss of his daughter, which, again, we're going to put that link up again on this video too, guys. It's Ink to the People. It goes like the shirts that Bern and I are wearing, his goes towards suicide prevention. Mine is just for the Art Center Foundation. And if also you're just a Zack Snyder fan, you got to rep this stuff because this is awesome. So please give it a really check out. But Bern, I'm going to see you on the other side. We're going to talk about Justice League when it finally drops, the true Justice League. The Snyder Cut.
Absolutely, man. I'm super excited. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad that it's happening, and we're finally gonna get to see it. Whether it leads to more things or not. We're getting Justice League.
Absolutely. I can't. It's getting me emotional. So let's just cut it here. Party on. All right, Brent. I'll talk to you later, and everybody, we'll see you on the other side of the Justice League.
Yep, we will definitely see you on the other side and be ready for our review on Zack.
Fucking ready. You guys better be ready. It's happening, and it don't fucking matter.